G'day folks, welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Look what Santa brought me. 8-inch over swing arm for El Bandito. Not that that's the name yet, haven't decided. Now there we are. This is, got it from the Bay of E at a proper price, and according to the stamp it's Gixxer 1100, which is exactly the same front fittings here and here as a Bandit, and it came out of a Bandit. I got it from an excellent breaker that breaks race bikes, and who has got a million Bandit bits, and it is a really excellent piece of kit. We've got the Schrader valve here to fill up this left spar, which has been sealed underneath, where there's usually two sort of drain holes. They've been sealed and welded up, and this is for air shifter. Now I'm not going to run an air shifter, but I'm thinking train horns. It's all coming, folks. This is going to be so much fun. That's the outlet. Obviously air will just leak out there now, so I put an air tube in, and that's the Schrader valve to pump it up with a foot pump. So that's going to be lots of fun playing with that once it's fitted. So that's academic. What we've got is what was originally a Gixxer 11 swing arm, which, as anybody knows, they're Gixxer 11s. It's a long swing arm anyway. They're 1.5 inches longer than, or 1.5 inches, 2 inches longer than a Bandit swing arm if you get a Gixxer 11. So if you want to stretch your Bandit 12, put a Gixxer 11 swing arm in it, and it stretches it 2 inches as it is. But this has been braced with billet brace, and it's had billet 6-inch adjusters put in the back. Now I've measured this against the old swing arm, and there it's 6-inch over, and roughly there, which is as far back as you go to allow yourself adjustment, that's 8-inch over. So it's a total of 8 inches over. It's got short reach clamp for the brake caliper instead of a torque arm, so it runs straight on there, and that just adjusts by loosening that because it's on a swivel on the inside. So that just rotates to fit as you adjust the wheel back for chain tensionage. That just moves to clamp onto your brake caliper. These are along the top just for some form of hugger, and it may or may not fit my hugger. Don't care if it doesn't, I'll just bin the hugger and hoof it. And I've also got some longer dog bones to drop the back, as I explained. So the first thing is to leave that there in the house and get outside and fit it onto the bike. Now the first job has been to give the bike a wash, and that's rare. This is the first wash I've had since I've ratized this, and I've cleaned it all up underneath, got everything clean because I'm going to be working on it, ripping all this back end out ready. So the first job is stripping. I'm going to get all the standard swing arm out, the wheel out, torque arm out, swing arm pivot in here. It's quite a big old job. It's 2 hands, can't really film it all the way, but I'm just going to get this stripping, hugger off. I've got to put the main stand back on because that is my chosen method of suspending the bike, and obviously I'm taking the swing arm out. So I'm going to put the main stand back in on its little hooks in there. I'm just going to literally poke the bolt through. Lucky I kept it. Always keep your swing arm if you take them off, because in situations like this they're useful. And then I'm going to change that swing arm. Right, so let's get stripping. Stick around, stay tuned, let's see how cool it gets. Alright, here's the first little task. Got the main stand back on. Now obviously there's no point in putting a spring on because this is not staying on, because obviously with the braced swinging on you can't have a main stand. So whether I want that or not, which I don't, then I can't have it. So that's coming off after. It's just to stand it up. I was going to just poke the bolts through finger loose, but that's going to be the only method holding the bike up off the floor once all this is extracted. So I've bolted them in nice and tight, both bolts back in place, nice and strong. Let's get it suspended, start stripping. Right, getting further along now. Now there's the casing. I've just took the casing off, but because it's hydraulic, I've just left the hose connected. I'm not stripping the clutch, I'm not bleeding the clutch. You can just pull it up, plunge it out of the way. And I'll put a plastic bag around it, because I'm about to lean on it with my face. Trick. That is often a bit of a pain. You can't put it in gear because it will just turn the engine over. So that's always really, really tight. You've got a tab washer. Knock the tab washer back. Show you a little trick. This is Delboy's Garage, tip number 656. Right, all you do, on the back here, put your axle, when you get your chain off, you've got to take that front sprocket nut out of the way. So get your axle back through the bike, put it back through, and then on this side, drop the chain on the axle, get a screwdriver that fits through the gap. Remember, this chain's coming off, so it's going in the bin. And then put it right through the chain and underneath, so it sticks out. You've literally pinned that through the chain, and you've literally clamped the chain to the axle. Now, around the front here, easy trick in the book, no grief needed, big old spanner on there. It'll take a little while till it takes up the tension. And there we are, we're on the slack now. Now that, all it will do is it will just stay there. That will not come out. And then all you do, give it some welly on the nut here, and that will come out nicely without any shocking. I've seen guys use impact guns on these, and that terrifies me because inside there is a load of metal synchros and they're all hardened. So you shouldn't use impact or shock or anything to undo that. Don't chisel it, don't beat it. Just use your common sense, use a little bit of physics, and just use the chain that's on there. Once this nut's off, you can then cut the chain off. So there's your tip for the day. Stick a screwdriver through the back, pin it over and under the chain, around the axle. Easiest way to get your chain off without all the scuffing about and damaging your bike. Right, let's keep going. Okay, kicked it on a nickel, there it is gone. Stripped all the back end out, swing arm's gone, sitting over there. Took the sprocket carrier out, cleaned the sprocket because that's going to be reused. This is the this has done about 3,000 miles, and there's a little bit of burr action going on the corner of a few of them, but that's fine. I mean, that's 3,000 miles, that should do a good 12 or more. And the front sprocket is buggered. I was told it was a 14, it's actually a 15, and also the guy who fitted this chain sprockets told me, he swore to me that he changed the front sprocket as well. Lying pants on fire, that's the original sprocket. There is no way that's been changed. It's done a lot more mileage than that, and I have got another 15 tooth front sprocket, so that's going to get a fresh one, a fresh chain. We're going to put 130 link chain, that's 110, and that extra 20 links goes about 10 at the top, 10 at the bottom, so that pushes you back about 6 3/4, 7 inches. So that chain 110, I've got a 130 ready to go on. The dog bones there, that's the standard ones. They're not going to go back on. I've got some longer ones to go in place. Going to reuse the caliper, obviously. Torque arm won't be needed. The old axle won't be needed. I've got the axle from the said swing arm, the new one. That goes in there, and that's everything. That's it all stripped, ready to go. So tomorrow morning, afternoon, whenever I get up, get used to it, get ready for this, I'll be back out here and we'll start offering up the new longer one. That's all cleaned out in there, just gave it a wipe round, ready to pop the new sprocket on and put the new swing arm in. So there we go. That's all for now, folks. Gonna just do this stripping tonight, wasn't going to put anything else in. That's it. Thanks for tuning in and watching Delboy's Garage. That's part 1. Tune in again for part 2. See you next time.